This is part 2. Blacks, dark skin and light skin, satanic view of each other. Now, I'm cautioning dark skin black men and women. Now, the women feel as though they done stored up all this energy from all these light skinned women being propped up over them over piss. Mainly by black men who didn't understand that light skinned women was just a trick of light. A trick of light to keep them from stepping out and jumping over their 15th New Jerusalem wall, which they did anyway, into Babylon contracts. What the light-skinned woman purpose was to know that he would be brainwashed. And so the Most High set it up where his seed produced light skin as well as dark skin women, so that if he was hypnotized by his slave master and wanted to be close to her, the slave master, that he would look towards light-skinned women who would be a trick of light, because they're black. They just light-skinned. And I caution dark-skinned people, unless you can really point out that their mother, father, grandmother, or grandfather is white, I caution you, don't act in stupidity, acting like they other than you, a black American, okay? Do not act in that stupidity, talking about light-skinned people are other than you, because all they are a trick of light. And if you understand carbon, and if you understand dark matter holds light and light can't escape from it, then you'll understand that they hold the light just like you do, and you'll understand this. You'll understand that dark-skinned people produce light-skinned blacks. We were segregated for 100 years after 1896 Plessy versus Ferguson. Thank God we were segregated. We were segregated, and we was forced in our own, and stratified in our own communities, as we are today many times. We're stratified, even though a lot of black males, since they told him integration would be his new pleasure, he jumped over his New Jerusalem wall. Now, so we do have women now and men now who got white parents, but I caution dark-skinned blacks, don't assume a light-skinned black have a white parent or a white grandparent, because that's stupidity, and that's not knowing the power of yourselves. And this is the power of yourselves. First of all, you were segregated for 100 years, and that flushed black matter into black matter. And by you being segregated, that means a lot of times your bloodlines were so close because you were in the neighborhood stratified with each other, and sometimes you didn't even know you was related. You might have been with your second or third cousin. And what happened was dark-skin carbonation, dark skin carbonation and melanation of close bloodlines actually produce light-skinned blacks. It's called the dominant recessive, but they are. And we have people like that, like Lena Horne, who a lot of people think have white blood close by. She might have Indian, but it's not white. See, and that's what I'm saying. We got light-skinned blacks, and to understand clearly what I'm saying, if you look at Africa, you'll see a lot of albinos coming about now, and that's because they have close relationships with their cousins, and that carbonation bounce off each other and produce an albino. But since we are God people and God namesake, he protects us. He protects his seed. Even though we do have an aberration of an albino here and there, we don't have it as much as places like Hamites, but we have it. But I'm saying, for all them 100 years of segregation, and still us not knowing who a lot of times our relatives was, and we was attracted to sometimes cousins, second, third, that we didn't even know was our cousins. Okay, so I'm saying our bloodlines are close, and you can go to the Red Cross and ask them about this. And this is why a lot of Judah cannot really take other people's blood, because their bloodlines are close. And it's so close that if a sickle cell patient need blood, sometimes she can't find blood in her own immediate mother, father, brother, siblings, brother, sister, siblings relationship, but she can go to another Judah tribal member she don't even know and get it. See, and that's our bloodline. So I'm telling you, and it doesn't rely on whether you're dark skin or light skin. It relies on the bloodline, the unseen factor. So what I'm saying is this: carbonation and melanation of dark-skinned blacks produce light-skinned blacks. So don't get foolish and thinking light-skinned blacks not a part of you or the same as you, unless you can prove and unless you know they got a recent flush of white blood in them, or other than your black blood, your same kind of blood in them, unless you know that either their parents or their grandparents are white. Don't get foolish and act silly and call yourself getting back in some more piss satanic worship, talking about I'm going to get back at them because they thought they was had stuff and now you either doing this, because you're still sucking Satan phallus when you do that. You got to be above that, and you got to be smarter than white folks. White folks base everything on skin and complexion, and this is why they're going to go to the dungeons of hell, because they're all white sinners that they done had for almost 136 years, has screwed them over, has considered them as debt slaves in eternity. Debt slaves. And don't think we don't have cosmic debt police forces. Oh, we got angels of all sorts. We got angels, and we got dimensions of hell, debt holding hells, and everything. So this is real, and this is way more real than you know. And a lot of them considered them to debt for eternity, and that karma is not going away. They got a debt to pay, and it's on earth, and it's written in America. They're in corporate doctrine debt. Whenever you hear them talking about debt ceiling, they taking another step in deep hell, and they taking another step in a dimension where you're going to have angels of debt collecting their karma by their pain in hell, and their children is going to inherit that. And just like a lot of them inherited calcified pineal glands because their previous ones sold their soul, and they going to inherit it whether they like it or not. So I'm saying we do have Gentiles of all different races, because some light was given to mixtures. And you have people around here so much hating white, and are so obsessed with the white man this, the white man that, the white man this, the white man that. They go to the smallest part of ignorance and then turn around and try to take that out on black people who they think is light skinned or mixed that they don't know nothing about. And it's just piss on steroids. I caution black people to stop catering to the satanic view of each other and understand when you do, you're drinking piss elixir. You're drinking Dracon piss. And there's a lot of them drinking Dracon piss. So obsessed with the white, they want to hate a light-skinned black. So obsessed with their light skin, they want to hate a dark-skinned black. You're drinking piss elixir, okay? You're in foolishness, and you're in satanic phallus-sucking mode. So in the 21st century, it's important that you understand constitutionality and not be hung up on complexions. You better be hung up on constitutionality, because that's a holy covenant that you have to serve in order for you to rise with the earth frequency, and you're not going to rise with the earth frequency being obsessed with your piss training, not your Willie Lynch, your piss training. So, even though we know throughout all this, we have all suffered. We know dark-skinned women have suffered a lot of degradation in this country, way more than the men, because the piss glorified the men in chocolate skin and put down the dark-skinned women in chocolate skin. And then the black men seemed like they were so hung up on a trick of light of a light skin. But, like I said, it's all the holy seed, and the Most High knew they would be messed up in the brain, and that's why he, in his creative supremacy and wisdom, understood that a trick of light was necessary. So dark-skinned girls, don't knock the light-skinned girls. They preserve the Christ seed longer, okay? Light-skinned girls, don't think you're better than the dark-skinned girls, because that's just your piss training. And the only thing you ever had on them was piss, if you think you're better than them, okay? And dark-skinned men, watch all this white man that, and I hate the white man, so I'm going to hate the light skin and mixture in this. If you don't know the whole decree, Don't take what you read and think you can then sum it up to who somebody is. You got to be careful of your accusatory of saying these people not Constitution. No, unless you know a black man jumped over that Jerusalem wall and fathered the children with a white, Hispanic, Asian woman that is an immigrant after 1866. See, that's who are mainly the non-constitutional. All these people who came in after 1866. A lot of people like Plessy, who was 1/8 mixture, 1/8 black, have a historical in this country before 1866. So I'm just saying, don't do the Satan accusatory act of each other. Don't do the Satan accusatory act. When I talk about jumping over the 15th Jerusalem wall, it's to educate that black men who jump over that wall are going into bondage, and they are creating bond children. And they'd rather have bond children of lighter hues because of their piss training than their holy covenant. They're betraying their own holy heritage. So yes, I try to keep people to stop from betraying their holy heritage, but that don't mean for people to jump in about light skin and dark skin and all that stuff, because then you're missing the point. The holy heritage point. The Most High is the holy heritage, and the woman seed is the heritage. Therefore, the holy covenant is the holder and the ark of the covenant of that heritage. So be careful, unless you know somebody has, a bond woman grandmother, a bond woman grandmother, or bond woman mother, before you accuse them of not being holy covenant. Okay? Based on light skin or dark skin. And back down in all this dark skin anger, because it's not going to do you no good. Because like I said, it's the combustion of your dark skin that creates light-skinned blacks many times. Don't buy the thing that whites created them. If you know you the first people on earth, then you should know you have more power than whites. If you can say the other people came from you, how in the heck you don't think that light-skinned blacks come from you? Because you're piss training. This is Mary Omni from the House of King David. Shalom.